I am going to share a link now because I'm in a wild and crazy mood, and this is all about not feeling alone. It can have up to 6 people in the stream. So there's a link I just put in. I'm not sure if it showed up on Facebook because there's a message saying there's a glitch. There we go. You don't have to. This is not. No one's forced to come in. Okay, here we go. We've got Megaleech and Adele.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
And look, it's Brady Bunch time. Aussie Gun Bunny too.
Yeah, I missed my name. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I love my ironing board in the background.
Oh, no. That's the ironing board. Excellent.
I think I've muted the right one now.
Yeah. That's a prodigious beard you've got now, Megaleech. I don't think I've.
It used to be longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it quite down to here somewhere. So
okay.
I'm going to move my screens around because I've got them weirdly set up at the moment from uni.
Yeah, not bad.
And Aussie Gun Bunny's back. Hey, Jonas, how are you doing? Jonas is one of those. I think something's gone weird. Just in my stream, Facebook comments are now disappearing just after they come up. But I did. Maybe if I open up Facebook, I will see something. But yeah, Jonas is a Facebook friend who I've actually hung out with, and he's like not an Aussie, so that's a little bit of an achievement. So I put the link in the Facebook chat as well. You can follow that link and come in. So I think we can still have 2 more people. Yeah. Well, who's it? Catherine's going to come in. Hey, Catherine's in here too. We're very Brady Bunch now.
Hi.
This is looking very Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Very Brady Bunch.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
Jonas is now saying he's taking credit. Jonas is apparently watching from the toilet, so he's going to spare us that. That's classy.
I appreciate being spared that because having worked in a call center, you'd be amazed how many people are like, I'm just going to pop you down and being spared that. Right.
Amara's popped in. Aussie Gun Bunny disappeared for some reason.
You'd be amazed how many people are like, I'm just going to pop you down and being spared that.
Okay, I
out of
think feedback from someone.
Hey.
Wait, is
Okay,
it
now
going?
pop down.
Yep, so
People should pause
on multiple
mute
things.
Yeah, mute the YouTube video that you have open and leave this one on normal audio, and it should not play.
No, we're good now.
I don't do this often, so yeah, it's just had it open to get the link and then
No, we're good.
it.
We all do the same thing.
Everyone does it,
Okay,
just how we work it out.
Hannah in the chat said she actually found that momentarily feedback cacophony somehow relaxing, so it's comforting. So,
The new ASMR.
So, Catherine, I'm just trying to work it because where are you based, Catherine?
Adelaide.
Okay, two Adelaideans, Tasmanian, Melbourne, and Seattle. Are you actually in Seattle, Amara?
Yeah, I am in Seattle.
How are you doing? Because Seattle was kind of reputed to be a hot spot for.
Straight up is one.
For the West Coast, not so much compared to the East, though.
That's true, not compared to New York, from what we're hearing, which, as you all have privy to our news, Yeah, it's the governor just today at about 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in our state said people can't leave the house unless they're by American shutdown rules, which I know, like, as a global citizen, are not necessarily as stringent as I would love them to be. But yeah, basically people are not supposed to leave unless it's groceries, critical jobs, or
the bottle shop.
Like caveat that people can like go run and stuff, which is where we run into a slide, right? Like I can leave the house, and as long as I'm keeping distant from people, but people then go, oh, so I can just leave, like that. People don't
No, don't leave. Everything you need, just don't leave.
pretty much.
Like, I was really running because you're always either a murder victim or the person who finds the body if you're don't know.
I hope I'm neither of those things. I want nothing to do with those things.
No, I have my nesting technique down pat right now. I've got puzzles, I've got crafts, I've got knitting, I've got books, I've got puzzle books. I'm all good. Then I got internet doesn't crap out again.
Catherine never wants to leave the house. That's all set up. That's great.
Yeah. I live alone. It's easy.
I did a lot of prepping too, and I lucked out. I'm a voracious, in addition to being like I'm very extroverted. Any of you, I don't know if I've met any of you besides Andrew in person, but I'm incredibly I like to be around people all the time. So for me, this isn't optimal. But I also have the time, and I'm gonna try and get through like 24 books during the duration of this time.
Wow.
Excellent.
Physical paper books or audio books or digital?
Actual physical books. I like to mix old school, new school life. So I'm a social media gal, but I like history. I'm a very sparkly, weird individual.
Yeah, like hands all over the place and everything.
Yeah. Public speaking. Yeah.
Nice. All the introverts are saying this is me. I like Jonah saying he's got a neurotic family to throw board games at. So
yeah. I wonder how Monopoly would go right now.
No. No. I'm actually trying to set up a video conferencing board game session with a games group that I normally do. So I'm using this like StreamYard, but putting it in the thing where you've got 6 down this side and then a screen share on this side, and that screen share is of a Google Hangout session with a phone that is above the board. So we've got the big board and then 6 people down this side. And we're just working out the finer points. But the host of the game would have to be the Monopoly board flip over guy. So
okay.
Wait, I think Aussie Gun Buddy wants in.
Oh, yes.
I think Aussie Gun Buddy wants in.
Yeah, he should be able to. I'm supposed to be able to get 6 people, but he's not popping up. I don't know what's going on, but we'll because 5's a weird number. 6 would be more balanced.
I'm still waiting on work to decide what's happening with us because I'm in health admin, so we're still at work, but we're not sure whether it's essential. So at the moment, I'm just sort of going to work and doing uni study remotely and just trying to stay home with the cat as much as possible.
Oh, I have a cat too. Let me tell you, cats are great.
Opie thought it was great, my cat. He decided that through my second lecture this afternoon, he was done with my tutor, which I do like that tutor, but I can understand. So about halfway through, he started sticking his head into the stream and having the other students laughing. So like, what is your cat doing? Like,
hey, there we go.
There it is. Look, it's more graphically enjoyable now.
yeah. Balance.
Well, I just want to say hello to Annette in the chat too. Getting people dropping in all the time.
Somebody was saying that they want to that they were going to buy a mead kit.
Yes, in the chat that did pop up. Yes.
If you're thinking about doing that, if you are thinking about doing that, something to look into doing is making some of this.
Ooh, what do you got
on the
there?
little bottle. That is the company. Let me zoom out a little bit. That is the concentration of about 10 liters of mead.
Wow.
And it's been and it's taken me about 4 years to make that little bottle.
Wow.
Wow.
That is a super. That is a super concentrated mead liqueur, and it tastes like fucking heaven.
Oh,
And if I ever come down to Melbourne, or if I get a chance to find some more of this, I'll send you down a bottle so you can try it, because it's
Do you know what the
absolutely
alcohol percentage
delicious.
is?
No.
So we don't actually know.
high.
What the
I don't know the it's I know it's safe to drink, because of what I've jacked it. I haven't actually. So what I've done is, instead of putting it through a fermenter, I've actually frozen it and then skimmed the water off it. So it basically just concentrates the same level of alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the way that people.
Hey,
Sorry.
cat.
Look at a cat.
Hey,
Look at a
cat.
cat.
Hey, cat.
Okay, we're doing a sound
boring,
off the
everyone pretending he's not
Aussie
there.
Young's a Queenslander. Nobody in Big Bad Ads are Queenslanders. So, Oh, getting white girl wasted with my pumpkin spice chocolate liqueur.
oh wow. See, yeah, okay, hold on. There's no pumpkin spice Starbucks, but there's that stuff there.
Ooh.
This, I got this last Halloween. And I'm trying to use it up, but
Yeah.
I got it as a joke. Then, of course, when you get something as a joke, you have to drink it anyway. So,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Every
very
time-
old.
Angry, every time I look at your liquor table, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to drink that, but I barely ever drink. So, yeah.
I got some diversity, definitely.
So
There
I've
you
just
go.
figured out how to see the comments.
Oh, yeah. Shirazi is also a Queenslander, was in the Brisbane CBD, a little bit abandoned by the sound of it.
Yeah, the photos of the cities has been really haunting, seeing how deserted they are. It looks like it should be after a war or something, not after a viral lockdown.
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. It's
Oh.
a ghost town.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw something in the chat. Yeah, Annette, who I've been friends with for ages, everyone started getting sick in her house. But she's celebrating. They don't have the Rona. They went to a doctor and it was just a cold. So it's like,
Yeah.
That's my asthma's been really bad at work. Anytime I get wheezy at work, I'm like, no, it's asthma. It's fine.
I don't know about anyone else, but often in the morning I wake up and I'm a bit phlegmy and it takes a little while to clear out. These days, if I wake up in the morning and it's a bit, oh God, this is it. It's the Rona. I'm going down. Then an hour later, I'm fine, and I'm going, don't panic, everyone, I'm fine. And everyone says, we didn't pay any attention to you. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Friend of
Now we're back down to 5.
Yeah.
Amara disappeared. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Friend
the
of,
NBN strikes again.
friend of the family was on that cruise ship that just came back.
Oh God.
That one where they were all let off the boat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and she's tested positive as well, so she's in hospital at the moment.
No. That's bad. That's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. As I was just saying to someone on Facebook today, because they were saying the whole, hey, 98% of people recover. And I went, yeah, dude, that's true. But as soon as you or someone else you care about contracts it, you're going to get a real hard lesson that 1% is not 0%.
exactly.
And you are not. I know, okay, I'm not in a high risk group, but I'm in the age group that if I contract it, there's about 10% chance I'm going to end up in hospital with complications, and somewhere between 2 and 4% chance of popping my clogs. So it occupies a certain part of my brain. It occupies a certain part of my brain.
Saying to me, you're young and healthy. I'm like, I'm actually not healthy. I have quite bad asthma, but I also have other chronic health issues that make me immunocompromised. And I've not been proper cold sick for a couple of winters, so I'm due for a really shit cold. So I'm like,
Wow.
I'd like to dodge that.
Yeah. So we're all trying not to freak out, but it's also when people are overly glib, I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe don't be completely glib about it because that's a little bit obnoxious. But yeah,
Exactly.
The other side of the coin is as well is that we're basing this information off the current strain of this particular virus.
Yeah.
And the viruses have a very nasty habit of changing very, very quickly. So just because it's not that lethal now compared to, say, the Spanish flu or, God help us, the plague or something like that, does not mean that it cannot end up that bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't know how quickly it's going to develop and how much it could mutate, particularly when people aren't always taking adequate precautions to just try and...
When you have an increase in the population that have a disease like this, you have more incubators for it to mutate. So the more people who get it, the higher the chance that it will actually mutate into something else.
Yeah.
The worst thing about this particular virus as well is how long it sits in your system dormant before you start showing signs.
Yeah.
So that 2-week period of you,
and we don't know.
I could have it right now. Every single person in the stream could have the virus right now, and none of us would know.
Right. Well, I'm going to run my antivirus program because that's a joke nobody's made. And I'm going to cleanse everyone in the stream by running Norton antivirus.
But I had someone at work saying we all just need to sage our houses, just do anything and everything, and just all the things.
I was at the doctor's yesterday, I think it was, and you could only sit in every third seat in the waiting room.
Yeah. Well, at least they're doing that. I've heard stories where they're not doing that. But that's it must be really weird going to the doctor's office. Like if you've got a cold or something and you're going, I can't cough, I can't sniff, everyone will think I've got the plague. It's like
there was even like a 2-meter line between the front door and the reception desk, and they're like, all right, don't move. And they had a table in front of it with hand sanitizer saying, are you sick? Do you have corona? What are you here for? Really, really intense.
Yeah. Well, that's like Aidsy was saying, because he has to go to the doctor a lot because of these million or so diseases. And he's really severely immunocompromised. And his GP is like, you call every time and you call and say you're coming in and I'll look at who's in the waiting room and I'll tell you whether you can come in or not because you're just so immunocompromised. You're extremely high risk. And you never know who is. You never know if someone on the street has, an immunocompromised illness or they've just gone through chemo or whatever. That's why it was like, not when you hear people say, but I'm young and healthy, like, which means you can run off and infect a bunch of people and we don't want you to do that. Like,
you could be a carrier.
There was a doctor, it was another good example of a lesson in exponential growth in mathematics. He's saying, of course, one of the bad things about COVID-19 is it's really contagious. It's really, really contagious. Like a normal flu, a person in a given week would infect 1.4, 1.5 people, which you can't really do that. It's like 2 people will infect 3 people, but saying one person will infect 1.4 person, and then that increased infection pool will infect more people. So with that sort of level of contagion, that goes through 10 cycles. One person's been responsible for 28, 29 infections, which, that's how the flu spreads in winter. Because of the infection rate of COVID, one person infects 3 people. Those 3 people infect 9 people. 10 cycles of that, you get up to 59,000 people. That's the difference. That's math. That's exponential growth. and that's why we're trying not to.
Oh,
We're all
yeah.
learning that. Isn't it fun? We're learning that.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Like I
Amara,
said,
sorry.
Hey, no worries.
Hey.
like I said to my bosses at work, because I've got a very dark sense of humor. Remember that when you're washing your hands, that you sing "Ring a Ring Around the Rosie" at least twice.
Oh, wow. A little history up in there? Sure.
Although folklorists have researched it, and Ring a Rosie's not about what's it reputed to be, the plague or something?
The plague, yeah.
And it's actually was written hundreds of years too late to actually be that. But it's still, yeah, it's a good thing to kind of remind that.
ScoMo's doing another update at the moment. He's saying hairdressers and barbers are still okay to stay open, but gatherings of no more than 10 people or something.
Okay, because I went and got my haircut last week because I thought this could be the last chance for 6 months to get a decent haircut and trim. So,
I'm booking this Saturday. If I can't get in, I'm just going to find a way to flick my hairdresser money and I'll shave my head again because, like, Mario's going to be...
I think you're going to let this keep growing.
yeah, another 6 months,
and,
Catherine, you'll have a decent growth there.
Yeah.
By the end of this, me and Megaleech might be able to go off and start a ZZ Top tribute band.
Yeah, a friend of mine was on Facebook saying who wants to have a social isolation beard growing competition. all the growers will get really shaggy.
I'm not beard, but I'll see how long this hair can get.
Yeah, you'll have a decent growth in 6 months, Catherine.
Yeah.
I think that hairstylists should like do classes where they try and tell people how to cut their hair. Then try to do it.
I just imagine.
Well, on the plus side,
like this, click, and then
hairdressers really neurotic. The hairdressers would be going, "We do this." No.
Right. That's great content. People love it.
on the plus side, you're stuck inside for like a month or two, so it's not like as if anyone's going to see your hair.
Exactly.
It will grow out.
It's time to experiment.
Doing daily Skype calls with the team at work, and I'm just doing voice, not video, and I'm sitting there chatting away, and I'm going, "What? No, I'm not in my bathrobe. Why would you even say?"
You're naked.
Hey, I'm still fully dressed from work, but as soon as I got home, I put on my dressing gown because I'm at home, and that's just immediately what I do.
Yeah.
I've already forewarned.
Are you in pajamas? No, I'm not in pajamas. I'm in work clothes. I just put on the dressing gown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I already blatantly told my boss I will be working in pajamas.
With momentum, I get dressed. It's not a good day.
I had a shower at lunchtime today. I was in my robe until lunchtime. I thought I'm going to prepare some lunch, and the robe has really long sleeves that will get in the way. So I'll just go and have a shower and put some proper clothes on now. But
like a sandwich wizard.
I'm still
making a sandwich.
I'm still at the point where I'm making myself shower every day just to feel human.
Yeah.
If this goes on too long, I might stop doing that.
No, that's a good strategy.
I have to do that. Yeah, I can't not.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I noticed Jonas in the chat got a sense of humor. Amara, Jonas wants you to give your best to his brother who lives in Seattle. He's sure it's a small town, and you probably know his brother.
If anybody was going to know your brother, it might be me.
That's actually true.
I'm gregariously social.
Yeah.
But yes, no, thanks. And it is a nice town. We'll see.
I remember a friend of mine at college was actually born and grew up a bit in the UK, but mostly grew up in Australia. But he was at some little party, and there was an English lass there, and she found out he was from England, and she just randomly goes, "Do you know Rupert from Egham?" And he just looked at her, and he did actually know the town of Egham, and he said, there's not much to it. And there's like one really long street that most people live on. And he just went, does he live on X Street? And there was like, a 10% chance that was right.
Main Street.
This guy did live on that street. And she goes, oh my God, yes. And he's going, oh my God, what? And he goes, oh, he's a tall, blonde guy? And she goes, no, he's a short guy with dark hair. Oh, I was thinking of his brother, of course, Rupert, the short guy with dark hair in Egham. You really know him? No, I don't know him. What are the chances? I would know him.
I feel like in the States that would be very improbable in like California or like, LA or in New York, the places that get advertised all the time. But like Seattle likes to treat itself like a series of small towns with, a really long and historical punk rock music scene. So like we'll lay a little bit of stuff.
I used to get that a lot when I was in the army. People would come up to me and say, I heard you're in the army. Do you know so-and-so? Like, mate, there's like 3,000 people. There's like 3,000 people at Laverack Barracks. No.
Yeah, on your base alone, yeah.
He wears green camos, right?
Yeah.
I know him too.
He has a gun.
Sometimes wears a slouch hat. Yeah.
I don't know. The more I have traveled, we'll see where that's going. But the more that I kind of tend to find people know each other within subcultures really, really closely. I mean, I talk about it a lot here in Seattle because YouTube is such a big part of my life overall. But I talk about the fact that I have all these friends in other places, and that like one of the great things about digital video in my life is that while I am definitely stuck at home right now, and yes, it is literally the middle of the night and I should be sleeping, but whatever. But I get to hang out with all of you, and I wouldn't have the capacity for that usually, except for the kind of like circumstances. So in a way, I keep thinking about this, that maybe there's the silver lining of us all really leveraging social well and learning to make our lives so it's more globally focused because of these dialogues. But I'm an endless. It's so funny that that Andrew and I are good friends because very different, I think.
We got to hang. Amara came to VidCon Australia a couple of years ago, and we got to hang out quite a bit, which was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Saw penguins with my own eyes. Very exciting.
Oh, that's right, because a lot of people don't realise we have penguin colonies in Melbourne.
Totally shocking to me.
Oh, the furry penguins are the best.
Yes. So Amara does, and we had the whole thing with penguins coming out and walking on the path. Amara got to show.
I did.
They were very cute the night Amara came out. But I was just thinking if we could find something about Scummo's speech.
The coast is spotted with penguin sanctuaries. So
I watched it. I didn't listen to it.
Schools are still open, but they want barbers and hairdressers to stay open while maintaining social distancing. So how the hell?
How are you going to cut my hair from
really long shears?
Oh no!
I'm still trying to figure out.
I couldn't fit them properly around my ears because they're not allowed to. You're not allowed to get that. So I'm just going to do some sort of maverick shit with a hair dryer to warm up the ears to bend them because it's just ridiculous.
I'm still trying to figure out how he thought that he could have the schools left open.
Because he's an idiot.
Seriously. Oh yeah, not allowed near each other, but then all the kids to school. It's like, you're joking.
And especially particularly young kids who just can't touch things.
You're joking.
And especially
Jonas has got to go. What's your brother's name, Jonas? I'll get Amara to shout it out.
What am I shouting out? I went looking for the video about the penguins. Okay, I'm back.
Okay. All right. I actually, that small world thing, I actually grew up in a country town, and last year I was in a job and they're doing this sort of, team building day where some people sort of gave a "this is my life" thing, a 60-second thing. And this one guy gets up and he seemed to be about my age, and he put the stuff up and he went to the same high school as me. And I was like,
Wow.
and then he said his name, and he was from one of the big families. I'm one of 10 kids. There were a couple of big Catholic families in my hometown. There were a couple that were 7 or 8 kids. There was a couple that were 10 kids, and there was one that was 12 kids. He was from the 8-kid family. And so after he gave his talk, I went up and said, shit, we went to the same school, and worked out he's a couple years younger than me. I was at school with his sister, so I didn't really know him because he knew who, you know how you know older people and you don't know younger people. So
yeah, there's annoying little brother.
yeah, so he actually he apparently had actually recognized me, but when he put up this stuff with the school that we both went to, I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is weird.
I grew up a little bit in North Carolina. So I actually grew up all over the U.S. I live in Seattle, but so like Oregon, Wisconsin in the Midwest, North Carolina. I went to school in Arizona in the desert. So like I really grew up all over the U.S.
Wow.
And yeah, like I tell people I'm a quarter Southern, you know, anyway. But the town that I grew up in North Carolina isn't huge, and it's definitely a place where it has like just enough kind of common culture that if you meet anyone who's from there or knows of it, you can just kind of be like, oh yeah, ECU, the Pirates, and then suddenly you're like in the exact same space. And it's a small enough town that like you always are, somebody always knows somebody, and the world gets real small real fast.
That's the weird thing about Australia. We have nothing in the middle.
What I
We're all clustered on the coasts, and there's this huge empty bit in the middle.
I hear it's warm in the middle.
It's a desert.
Yeah, the big friggin'
Wow.
desert, a couple thousand kilometers across.
Isn't there
camels.
I want to say I read a Bill Bryson book. I read a lot. A Bill Bryson book about Australia at some point that I'm sure is just very often.
Oh, there's
Quite good.
there's a
Is it? Okay.
there's a bit of stuff in the middle. I mean, you've got farms that'll take you like 4 or 5 days to walk around, and you got the mines, but outside of that,
There's not much.
Yeah, no.
Camels. That's it.
Empty space.
Yeah. I read on a cigarette papers packet that like something like 80% of the population lives about at least 50 k's from the coastline, and that's as close as they are. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Using coastline to
That basically describes Tasmania, the entire place.
Yes, it's only 50 kilometers across.
In my mind, there's just one big spider in the middle.
Yeah.
None of you have
That's
ever
why we
seen
don't
it.
go there.
It's like what do you
Amara
know,
knows
deep water squids, like they're down there, like giant squids.
the old map of the world.
Yeah,
Australia's just got a giant spider in the middle.
Just in the middle. Is that accurate? That's a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Amara knows the secret. The middle of Australia has one very large.
Uluru is the carapace of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that bury in the sand.
Yes.
You all have many more variants of spiders than I am aware of. So no idea.
yeah.
Everyone about dust storms in
my
Australia,
opinion.
the giant spider burying itself. That's
Yeah, that's Uluru. Yeah.
That
I
horrifying.
yeah.
So
I can guarantee you, if I walk out in my backyard, I could probably grab maybe 3 or 4 brown snakes. Probably.
talk shit
I
about
will talk all the shit about spiders. I hate spiders, but I can kill them. I do give them fair warning. I put lots of deterrents out to keep them outside the house. Once you've made it in, that's your own choice. I will kill you.
I am like Aussie Gun Bunny saying you could just walk out and grab a couple snakes because you're in Queensland. I remember one of my lecturers at uni was from North Queensland, and I had a couple of friends who were from North Queensland, and they were just like, "Yeah, you have snakes and frogs and lizard in your house. You just deal with it." And the lecturer was saying, like, once he was trying to explain to someone how things like there was a bit of corrugated iron on the ground, and he just said, "If I lift that up, there'll be a snake under it." and they all go on. And he goes, okay, and he lifts it up, and there's this little green snake under there. It's like a little. He goes, he picked it up by the tail, going, "It's a such and such. It's pretty harmless." And it was just in a bad mood. And as he's saying, "It's harmless," it just whipped around and bit him on the face. And it's just these little fangs, but it's just hooked into his face, and he's going, "Ow!" And they go,
"It's just a kiss. It's just a kiss."
Unhook it.
Very slow.
That's an Australian outback kiss. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and he's trying to act calm, and he can't get the snake off his face.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I should point out I do live on acreage, so yeah, there's quite a big chunk there that's just long grass and bushes and stuff. So yeah,
many cane toads.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few.
Hard to find the
And green
snakes
tree
with the cane toads.
frogs. Yeah. Yep.
I do remember walking down because as a country town, there's a fair bit of snakes if you got into the edge of town. Walking along the riverbank one day, willow trees, and there was a lot of dried leaves on the ground. So I'm going crunch, crunch, crunch as I walk, and I disturbed the brown snake, and it shot across just in front of my feet. And I want to get away from you, but I just saw it right in front of my feet, and I didn't really know what happened. And I realized I'm standing like this, and I go, and I'm hanging onto a branch that was about 2 or 3 feet above my head, and I had unconsciously I had jumped straight up and grabbed the branch, and I was just like, and it was 2 or 3 seconds before I even realized what I was doing. I'm like,
those monkey instincts.
You've got survival instincts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Did I ever tell you the story where I had the moment? So this is a great fear Americans have about going to enough that a lot of people will say, "I won't ever go to Australia. I'm afraid of." Yeah. Like I'm afraid to go to Australia and have those encounters.
Yeah.
And I was in.
Where the bloody hell are you?
Yeah.
Melbourne somewhere at like something really hipstery, like a potato bar. I'd never seen such a thing. Where they could open a potato and they put all the stuff on it.
Yeah, baked potatoes are good.
I know it was. I spent a lot of time going, how come there are not 30 of these in Seattle in like a food truck? That could be my new business when all this ends. Who knows?
Yeah. There you go.
But they had a restroom that was attached to the back in kind of like a. To me, it looked like a reworked shipping container. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was separate from the restaurant, and you had to go down this little corridor to get to the actual like facilities. And I had a moment after I got a little bit down that corridor where I was like, "Oh no, this could be it. This could be the moment a giant spider happens, and I am alone and have no weapons."
Yeah.
So I was like, "What am I gonna do?" Because I have never seen a spider in my life bigger than this.
The Aussie weapon.
So like
that's what you need.
I mean, I was like wall climbing like Zelda. It was like a whole.
Yeah. You're more like in Melbourne. You're more likely to run into either a huntsman, which are scary looking but harmless, or a golden orb spinner, which will do the fun thing of spinning a web across the path where you're walking, and they're about. They can be about this big or half that size, but they make really strong webs. So if you brush into them, they don't break instantly. They sort of stretch, and it's like, and there's a spider somewhere in this. And if you're anything like me,
is that why you have the beard? extra depth from the spider. I don't know.
Yeah. Usually,
got it.
Usually, it's.
Oh, sorry.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that you'll find a poisonous spider inside your house in Australia.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's a huntsman or daddy long legs, and that's about it. I mean, sometimes you might get a redback.
Poison that we have. It's so like when you're in the U.S., you're raised to find any spider kind of frightening, and a lot of the ones that are dangerous here are very small. So you know, the idea of there being like people tell horror stories. I was once actually the first time I ever spent a lot of time with a friend of mine who lives in Perth. He came to visit for PAX. We have a video game. You guys have a branch of it now too. A big video game fair that happens.
Yeah.
Well, we used to. Now everything's shut down.
Well, of course.
Everywhere open.
But they had he came and he was just talking about how he grew up, and he was talking about like driving his Jeep one day and like the spider coming out of the undercarriage in the car. And these very big, like bulky American football playing guys were all like, no, whoa. And they were all like freaking out. And he was like, what are you talking about? It's just a spider. It's just a relativity thing. You know, I'm really fascinated to see a kangaroo, and like that seems ridiculous to you all, but like I hear deer are interesting, and like I'm
really with spiders in Australia, the only ones you've really got to keep an eye out for are funnel webs. Like most spiders, if you get bitten by them, if you apply basic first aid, get to the hospital, you will be fine. And most of them, the venom, unless you do something really stupid like sit around for an hour or so before you go, you'll be fine. Funnel webs, on the other hand, they are aggressive as hell and they are poisonous as hell.
Yeah.
But they are only around Sydney. So
there needs to be a children's book for me. You guys need to like illustrate one for me that's like, this is what this spider is as a character, so that I can know. There should be like, this is the like the one you talked about with the golden web. I feel like it should be a crossing guard, right? It's like, no, you can't cross the street.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you live in the leafy suburbs of Sydney, funnel webs are a thing, and they you got to if the whole thing about like if you leave boots out in the shed, you really got to give them a shake before you put them on, because they love dark spaces. So
well, I look forward to all of you someday potentially getting the opportunity to hear me scream. And then wouldn't it be interesting to just see an American come upon something that was so impossible, because that's what we're talking about in my mind. It would be.
Sorry, you reminded me of something I saw about a year ago. Wasn't that long ago. I think it was in the last year. Something that Australians were like, what the fuck? And Americans Instagram story. They're on holidays in Australia, and they post this little video of, look at this gorgeous little octopus I found. And this is like the most powerful neurotoxin known to that this fucking blue ring octopus can inject you with.
Oh yeah.
And this tourist has got one crawling. Look at the beautiful blue rings, and every Australian is like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Put it down."
And of course, we had this story hours later, and apparently this person for hours thought people were pulling their leg, and we're like, "No, look it up. If that thing had you, you would have been in the world."
Yeah, people die from them. Like,
no
seriously, people die from them.
Well, I still look forward to at least maybe going to an aquarium there someday. Well, I'm going to bow out. It is way past my bedtime, and my computer is saying I'm going to run out of steam. So, thanks for chatting with me. And
it's my bedtime too. Actually, I am still got to get up for work tomorrow, so I'm going to go too.
I got to.
Yeah, we're going. Well, this has been a fun, diverse chat. Going to do more of this, I think. Just get Brady Bunch stuff happening.
Lovely.
Thanks, everyone.
I always wanted to be on the Australian version of the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Waiting my whole life for this moment.
Thanks everyone who came into the chat. Thanks everyone who got on camera. I'm going to keep doing this because I think, to stop us all from going stir crazy, we have to interact, I think.
You need to talk to people. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to do this more, and I'm going to invite people. I won't necessarily have, the Angry Bunch. Thanks, Line Spider. That's what we'll call it, the Angry Bunch. But definitely do it sometime, because this is heaps fun. So thank you all. See you all later. I'm going to go bye.